All right, it's 6 p.m. Board, welcome. Would you like me to facilitate your meeting this evening?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, then we'll start. This is Greenfield Lakes Owners Association Board Open Session Meeting for February 25th, 6 p.m. We're going to convene. We have the agenda as published on the screen for everybody to view. So the agenda is available before the meeting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have about 15 or so people in right now that are, and looks like people continue to join. So welcome everyone. I'll do a little one-on-one Zoom etiquette. If everybody respects everybody's speaking ability, we will leave you the ability to mute and unmute yourself, as opposed to asking to raise your hand. So if you could please mute yourself, it'll keep the background noise to a minimum. And at the appropriate time, we'll ask for any comments, and then you can unmute yourself and speak. And the normal procedure during an open meeting session for motions would be the board is having some kind of a discussion, so board only. The board will make a motion. Second, there'll be a board discussion. At that time, we'll ask for homeowner input. That is the ability now for any homeowner that'd like to make a comment about the motion, has the floor. And then after that, we will have the vote. At the end of the meeting, we're gonna have a homeowners forum where you can bring up new agenda items and futures and maybe some Q&A. So that's how we'll conduct the meeting. First, we'll determine quorum. We do have quorum of the board. So board, on page 2, I'm going to flip the screen, are the minutes from January 28th. If you would like to review those and make any additions, corrections necessary, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Is that all we did?
Those are the motions. And these are corporate, what we call corporate minutes. It's who attended, when we convened and adjourned, and the actual decisions or motions that were made. So it's not action items and notes.
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept it.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? I need the board to say aye or something.
Aye.
So all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, very good. Any nays? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you. The financial report. Treasurer, would you like me to run through your financial report for you?
Yes, please do.
Very good. I'll put it on the screen. This is our financials as of January 31st. This is the balance sheet. I'll verbalize some of the summaries of these, the accounts. So in our operational checking, we have 106,665. In our parcel 6, or the gate area, has a separate operational checking, has 14,658. That also parcel, the gate area, has a separate reserve account of 25,843. We have a CD with CIT Bank at 52,426, and then we have money market of 732,641 in the money market. So total reserves of 810,000. We have receivables of assessments. So we do break out the receivable categories. So assessments of owners are 23,197, and then we have receivables of late fees, legal fees, reserve, fund, other, and fines. It's weird. The other has a paid balance because we had income come into the other, so it made it look artificially low as a category. Accounts payable, these are bills that are processed that have not, checks have not yet been cut, are 26,595. And then prepaid assessments, exactly what they sound like, homeowners that have prepaid the assessments for Q2 and beyond at 14,880. On our P&L, our year-to-date and our current period for the month are the same because we're only 1 month in. So our total income is a little below budget because we did budget for the reserve income. Reserve income comes from the sales of homes. As they sell, there's a reserve contribution, and none of that was booked in the actual in January. So we're a little below income. We did have some fines and other, which we don't budget for. So in in expense in common, we're a little above budget, about 102. That came in the street sweeping. We were below budget in the community area because we didn't have any meetings, social or legal expenses in January. Vehicle access gates, we had a small repair, so we're still under budget in gates. Insurance, we got the insurance bill for the year, we paid it. It was $158.30 higher than budget, but we're done for the year on insurance. And landscape maintenance, we're under budget significantly, but that's really a timing because the tree pruning budget and the other landscaping budget are even for the year. In other words, 18,000 as you see for tree pruning, but it's even for 12 months and we didn't spend any money for that. So right now for 1 month, we're $4,600 and change under budget. And operations, go to the next page, we were a little over budget, but I'll go back to the bottom of this page. You can see that it was all in clerical. Clerical is where we put the external mailing house. We use a mailing house to send all the notices to the community. So the annual meeting notices that were sent, that goes into clerical, and you can see the clerical budget of $4,734 is again even for the year at $394.50, but it lumps into 2 basic areas, your annual meeting and your year-end letters. So it's a timing issue. We're not certainly over budget in that category, but it does show as operations over budget. Miscellaneous, we were a little high in miscellaneous. That actually was failed escrows that get paid by homeowners and they get paid out to the management company. So it goes in that miscellaneous category. Miscellaneous other expense was a little $108. Pest control was a little under. We didn't have any miscellaneous repair. We had no electrical repair, so that category was under budget by $1,700. We made our reserve contribution, of course. We budget for that. We do exactly what the budget is. So we put $12,120 from the checking operations into our reserve money market, and that's budgeted at $145,000 for the year to contribute to our reserve account. Electric, we were nicely under budget for electric. And water, we didn't receive a water bill from the golf course in January, so it's a timing issue. I'm sure we'll get our Q1 water bill, and we know what it's supposed to be. So utilities were under budget. So total expenses shows under budget by $18,912. Take into account the water, which is $14,000 of that, and some others. We were significantly under budget by about $3,000, a little between 3 and 4 if you take the water out, which you can now take our net or our net reserve contribution. Excess revenue is expense as it shows. If we were a nonprofit, that would be profit, but we are a nonprofit. We were $17,000 good to budget. Take the water bill out, you're about $3,300 good to budget. So overall, for the first month, looks pretty good. Your backup material is the checking statement, reconciliation, the check register, money market statements are all included. Board, are there any questions on your financials?
I have one question. If you can go back to the first page where yes, right there, the reserve, you have the CD. The expiration date, I believe, is 6/31/21, not 12/31.
Okay, sorry about that. I will change that. Thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm down in the who knows, page 6 of the reconciliations, other debits.
Right here? Page 6 of the P&L?
No, I'm down in the checkbook.
Okay. Check
Page 6 of
register?
6. Yes.
There you, okay, that's 1 of 1 or 13 of 40, but that's the check register.
Right. Well, I'm just wondering, I see two people have paid their assessments at $151.99.
Okay, I'm on a different page.
Well, this is page 11 of 40.
Okay, page 11 of 40. Oh, I see. Okay, that's actually an ACH. So what happens, we have homeowners that are on automatic payment, and that's called an ACH. We take it directly from their checking account, and we look at every one before we actually pull them. And if they literally had a 1 cent credit, we would only take $151.99 because they had a 1 cent credit on their account. So if they had a $10 credit, we take the $142. If they owe $10 above the 152, you take 162. So that's why that is a little weird, 151.99, and they literally had a penny on the books of a credit.
Well, like you say, it's weird.
It's weird, but this is the all the balance forwards we received from the previous management company, and there were a few accounts that literally had a penny for whatever reason, I don't know, but we'll take the right amount.
Okay, then 3 inches below that in your daily balances. We lost $260,000 between the 22nd and the 25th of January.
The money was moved from operational into your money market. So as received the final checks and balanced the funds, that actually did two things happen there. We did a year-end sweep. So per the budget, if you remember, we started the year with 45 days of expenses in the operational checking account. So the excess money we moved over to the reserves, and we're on accrual, so it shows on the books it happened on the 31st of December, but on a actual basis, that money was moved on the 22nd or the 25th, whatever the days in between there. So you can actually see that.
Just wondering if
question. Sharp eye.
Wondering if somebody's in the Bahamas.
No, if you go to this one, you'll see there's where the money was moved on the 25th near the bottom, $254,121.
Good.
Very good, sir.
Inquiring minds.
Any other questions? Any other questions from the board? Are there any homeowner questions on the financials? I'd be glad to entertain those. Easiest way to unmute yourself, by the way, is hold your space bar down while you're talking. It's like a push to talk walkie-talkie switch, and then you can, when you release it, you're back on mute, and it's easy. Okay, I don't see any questions from the homeowners board. We would entertain a motion to accept the financials as presented, please.
I make so motion.
Second.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, first agenda item is board positions. This is where you start to play scissor, paper, rock, or arm wrestle, or decide who would like to be which position. So you start from the top down. So we'll entertain the nominations or appointments for president of the board.
I motion that Kevin becomes the new president for the community.
We have a second on that motion.
I second that. Darius.
Okay. Discussion. The train's leaving the station, Kevin.
I accept.
Okay. Any further board discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Abstain.
You abstain. Okay, I think the ayes have it. We'll note the abstain in the minutes from Mr. Seaman. Do you accept the position of president, Mr. Seaman?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you very much. The board and management do appreciate that. Thank you for volunteering as president. All right, next one would be vice president. Who would like to be vice president? Or we could have a
I would
motion.
like to nominate Todd.
Very good. Todd says no.
I like secretary.
Todd likes secretary. Okay, let's, how about another nomination?
If
Ron,
nobody,
Somebody has to
I
be
take it.
VP.
Ron could back him up since Ron's president, slide into the VP spot.
That's pretty much the only job of VP is when the president's not available.
So I second that. I second Todd.
Oh, all right, Darius, thank you. All right, now the train's leaving the station
Sorry,
for
Ron.
Ron. Any further discussion on the motion?
Ron, you
Any
okay with
homeowner-
that?
You okay with that, Ron?
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do I get a
Okay.
pay cut?
Yeah, you get 0 minus 0. Get the big bucks. Any homeowner discussion? Anybody in the homeowners know any reason that we should not elect Ron? Okay, hearing none, then you get to hold your peace for the year. All in favor, please signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? See, now Kevin, Ron didn't even abstain. It's unanimous for him. Thank you very much. Ron, do you accept?
Anything to work with this group, anything to work with these guys.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. We'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
All right, so we already know Todd wants to be secretary. Would somebody like to make a motion for secretary?
I make a motion that Todd be secretary.
I second
Do we
that.
have a second? Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Any homeowner discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Todd, do you accept being secretary?
I humbly accept the position.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Treasurer would be the next position. 1 + 1 is 3. Who can add that much?
I nominate
That can be
Art.
Art.
I second Art.
Very good.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Art, do you accept?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that greatly. Oh, let's see, that's the positions, and so we have Darius as the member at large. You accept the member at large position?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. Okay, fence repair in Common 6 area, page 20. So the parcel 6 is the gated community, and there's a patch of common area between the golf course and the common area near the cul-de-sac at the end, and that fence is in dire need of repair. I have many pictures, but this kind of just shows it right down the fence, and there's a crumbling block under one. So I need some direction on what the board would like to do to get this repaired.
Can I give a little history if you don't mind?
Please do.
Little.
Yes, yes. This fence was put in about 9 years ago, is an aluminum fence. If you look at the rest of it, we replaced all of that approximately 4 years ago. And they're that saddle style fencing. This wasn't as bad, but it needs to be anchored down. The patterns, I believe they're like 10 foot apart. So it needs some sort of a metal rod to stabilize it. Is not rusted because it's aluminum. So we might want to get the gentleman that does our work to take a look at that and see what is the best way to keep it straight.
Okay, yeah, we had a vendor do the fence on the east side, weld a structural bar on the bottom, but that was a metal fence. but they are a mobile welding company, so I would imagine they can handle aluminum, I would hope. Otherwise, we might have to do some mechanical, meaning some block and repairs down the bottom with mechanical fasteners as opposed to welding. But that's the approach we'll take. So we will go out and get suggestions and bids from the appropriate repair. If it's above my level of pay, which I believe it will be, we'll come back next meeting with quotes for you to vote on.
And the reason you see the hole in the bottom where the wash is, the golf course was overwatering over the fence. So the water was piling up over there. So we decided to put a little drainage area so the water goes right back to the golf course in a bottom.
Yeah, that's at the end of the road. That
Yes.
river rock goes to the asphalt.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, very good. Then we'll execute on that. Thank you. No motion needed. I wanted to have a general kind of a conversation or want some direction from the board. We've talked a lot on and off and individually about the conditions of some of the walls. So we would like direction from the board of what you would like us to do specifically. We engaged an engineering company for the wall repair on Quinn. We can have them give us some reports on various areas of the walls, specifically the wall on the northwest area between the canal and the HOA that is leaning, and has been looked at before. I understand a little bit of the history, but we want to start putting some plans together to take care of some of these walls. So what direction would you like us to go, board?
Well, I would like to say that we should be proactive on this. We shouldn't wait for a fence to fall down before we react. And I don't believe that anybody on the board has the qualifications to analyze these fences. So I think we need to have somebody on a scheduled basis, annual, every 2 years, every 3 years, whatever. Somebody needs to be hired to go through the whole community and look at all the fences, either that's completely HOA or shared by the HOA, and report back to us which ones need immediate attention, and then we need to address those right away.
Okay, Kessler Engineering, the one that you voted on and hired to do the Quinn wall, I have approached and asked if they do this kind of work. They do. If you would like me to get a bid of what that would cost, then that would be a direction if he wants to do it that way.
I totally trust Kevin on that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, they're civil engineers in PE. I mean, that's what they do.
It's the right thing for us to do, to be on the front end of this and to get someone to take care of it. So yes, let's at least get a bid with some input and some recommendations on what we need to do and the severity and the importance of how soon we need to do something.
Okay, so I'll take that, and we don't need a motion just to go get a bid. I'll go get a proposal from them on wall inspection, and we'll bring that back at the next meeting next month, and you can vote on that, and if approved, then they can do a inspection and report on the walls. I think that would be a good idea.
And can I please add that in the bid, if you can get the warranty statement on how long they're going to warranty their work, that would be helpful.
Well, it's a report, it's not construction.
Okay.
Yeah, this
So
is just a
there's-
survey of the existing walls.
Yeah, I don't think there's a warranty on a report.
No, okay.
It's
I misunderstood.
of that day.
Okay.
You know,
Sorry, I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
things change. That's okay. No, of course, if we, go to a construction, it's a whole different deal. Okay, this is an example of a mailbox. This is the mailbox that happens to be down near the basketball court in the south area of the HOA. But we have several mailboxes are in need of some, painting. The mailboxes are technically owned by the HOA. The locks and keys are owned by the homeowner. So the Postal Service isn't going to come and fix these things for us. And they kind of, they're kind of an eyesore. I mean, they're very well constructed. They're United States Postal Service certified boxes. They're not inexpensive. but we can paint them up, and I would like some direction on this to go get some bids for painting.
I motion that we do that.
Okay, again, I'm looking for direction. I'll bring back bids, and then you can motion improve bids. But I think it's one of those things you drive through community, and you know it doesn't look like we're taking care of it because we're not. We need to be. Okay, so any further discussion on that? I'll go ahead and get bids for the next meeting on the mailbox painting.
Perfect.
Okay.
I would say that,
Go
yes,
ahead.
let's do that. However, if someone's coming on site to do that, is there anything else they can do while they're here? Like, does that light pole right next to it, does that need something?
Good point. Light poles are not technically owned by the HOA or maintained, but there are fences that we're going to talk about fences a little bit. And if they're going to come give us a bid for painting this, we should get a bid on painting the fences. And
Yes.
that's the fence, especially the fence in this area right here, which is on the agenda.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Let me go back to agendas. I think that's the next item, is it? No, it's down here. So actually that was the wall. So we'll talk about that again. I'll go back to there. So this is again the basketball court area. There are homeowners that share the fence with a common area on the north side and the south side. I've surveyed or walked the entire fence line and literally shook every single joint. On the north side, generally the fences are good. They're not rusting out. There are some fasteners that need to be rebolted into the concrete block. And there is one home that has a tree that has grown over and is bending it out. That I'll be contacting that homeowner. But they're generally not bad. They certainly need some refastening and they could be painted. They haven't been painted in a long time. On the south side, different conditions. There is one fence that's totally rusted out entirely, and the others are fairly good condition that don't need replacing. They need painting, a couple of fasteners, and there's a few that are just perfect because there's nothing around them and they've never been touched. I think, and there was one or two that actually looked like they'd been painted. Probably the homeowner painted them themselves because they look freshly painted within the last couple of years. So when we have the painter a couple of bids, or we'll get a few bids on the painting of this metal of the mailboxes, we'll get those fences also bid on painting also. So that's why I wanted to point out on the walls.
And also, I believe there are 5 homes south of Sarasota on the north of Warner that we need to paint those as well. I believe there are
South
5.
of Sarasota,
Am I saying
on
it right?
the
North side of Sarasota.
north side of Sarasota. Okay,
Yes.
south of Warner. Okay.
I'm
All right,
sorry,
we'll put that on the bid list too.
north of Warner. Yeah, north of Warner.
Okay.
Those were, we need to look at those also. Some of them already been replaced, but if they're.
Yeah, this is any of those view fences that are homeowner and common area that are HOA half and half, not the golf course guys. Okay, we have some landscaping proposals, 3 of them, and this is in the general view of cleanup. The trees on the east end of Knox, there's a lot of dead plants, quite a few dead trees. This is the proposal, and these are some pictures of those trees. It looked like I don't know why they died, but maybe irrigation issues for many years, but they're pretty bad off and they are dead. So that's $1,215 for this proposal. I'll summarize the others and then you can decide what you want to do. We have a proposal, 2 proposals for cleanup. The west side canal and then, horse path or canal, and then the north side horse path. So if I bring up a map, so this is these pictures, it's the strip between the wall and the path that is HOA. There's dead trees and dead bushes. There's half living stuff. There's actual irrigation there. Recommendation is clean it all up. Just take it out. It doesn't really serve any purpose. Abandon the irrigation so we're not maintaining that area anymore, and just make it nice and clean, and so it doesn't have to be an eyesore, at least on that part. That was a little bit of discussion previously to do this, presenting it to you guys if this is a direction you want to go.
I think that's a pretty good, reasonable thing to do.
Yes, I second that.
Okay, then in conjunction is the north side, which is that green area that's highlighted. It does have more trees along that horse path, but they're in some dead, some half alive. There's old irrigation there and some plants. It tends to collect other dead plants that people dump in that area. Again, it's a much larger area, but I would recommend we just clean that up and maintain it weed-free and clean, and then we're not worried about that area. I would also mention that both that west side and the north, the trees are really close to the wall, if you've ever walked back there, and they're gonna start undermining that wall. We don't have an issue with the wall in the north, but we do have that canal wall, as we know, does have some issues, may have been exacerbated by the trees or not. You know, we'll tell from the engineer report when we get that. So this is part of that cleanup, I would suggest also. So this one is let's see, that's the north side is 2740. Along the canal is 3605, and moving the dead trees and plants along Knox is 1215. If you're in favor of this, you can make a motion for all three at once, or you can motion individually to have discussion individually if you like, board.
Make a motion to accept the bids.
I second.
Was that all three, Todd?
That's correct. All three bids.
Okay. All right, and we have a second. Any further board discussion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion?
Hey, real quick, do we really need to grind the stumps? I mean, it's in an area that
Correct.
nobody ever sees.
Yeah, they're gonna stump grind also. That's in the bid, as you see.
Yeah, I'm just saying, do we need to? It seems like in a
This is
sense it's
on-
not necessary.
This is on Knox. So they're gonna stump grind Knox, and I don't believe they're gonna stump, oh yeah, they are stump grinding. So stump
I
grinding
think we
I
should.
don't think we want to leave
Clean up.
stumps sitting around anywhere. I mean, that looks like crap. If you leave stumps hanging out.
Well, that, and if we get any kind of rain, those trees will take years and years to die, even without irrigation. So it'll still be a maintenance problem if we don't grind them.
All right, good comment. Thank you for your comment. Any other homeowner comment on the motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you, board. We have the landscape report. This is for board information. We get a landscape report I put in there so you can read it. There's no action items in there. Collection policy. I wanted to go over this with the board. There was a previous collection, well, you have a current collection policy, which is this one, and then we have drafted a recommended change. So this is a collection policy that I believe was voted in with the previous management company. And the one thing that strikes us right off the top is the 15-day, or you have a 15-day late. So on day 16, you get a late fee. The Arizona state statutes say $15 or 10%, whichever is more. You charge $20. That on its face is not according to state statute, so we really can't do that. So we recommend going to 15. And then the escalation period in this policy seems very rapid. Literally every 15 days, it ratchets up very, very quickly, which is unusual in the industry a little bit. But the board does make this policy. The CC&Rs allow you to put in whatever policy you think is necessary. Our policy that we're recommending on the next page is this policy. It's a little longer, drawn out. There's a little more spacing in between, and it does conform to all the state statutes necessary. So probably the biggest difference is the length of time. The end result of both is it eventually goes to the lawyer. If they literally don't pay after several months. In this policy, it goes to the lawyer after about 140 days. In the previous one, it was about 115 days. That's probably the longest, bigger difference. The fines or the actual collection fees are less in this one. $15 is the late fee, and it's every month is $15 that are late. We send a letter out, and that goes on the homeowner's account. It's an $8 letter. That goes out 2 times, as you see, for the 30-day and the 50-day past due. And then after the 50-day, then it starts ratcheting. We send a $30 collection letter, which is called an intent to lien notice. Then they have a period of time to respond to the intent to lien. If that goes by, then another letter is sent out that is the lien notice, and it's recorded. If that is not, nothing happens after that, then there's a new law of about 2 years ago that we have to send a 30-day certified mail notice that we're turning it over to legal counsel. And that's what the last notice is. So number 9 is the notice that the lien was filed on a 30-day, and that's a certified letter. Once we have that certified letter, then we can turn it over to legal. Any questions and answers on the draft policy?
No questions.
Okay.
It seems fairly clear.
Do you like it? Would you like to motion to accept this, or would you like to do something else?
Well, this does appear to be a positive change. Any of you other board members, you see a problem with it, or a reason why we shouldn't do anything at all?
This seems.
Well, I think it's representing the new statute, so I think I'll pass a motion to approve.
I second the
Okay,
motion.
All right, any further discussion, board? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? I'll give this one extra time because it's it's a change. All right, hearing no homeowner discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. So to put this in action is a several step. So you motioned it, or you voted on it. It goes in place. We need to give at least a 30-day notice to the community. It needs to be published. So we will send this out to the community. The least expensive way is we will include it in we can do it 2 ways. We can include it in the quarterly statement, which will be coming out about the 17th of March. And that's obviously real inexpensive because we're just going to print it in and stick it in that statement that is already covered, or we can do a separate mailer. When we talk about mailing to 785 homes, that's not an insignificant expense. So we would recommend that we put it in the statement, that it would be published, and then it would not take effect until May 1st, because we'll give 30-day notice from April 1st.
I like
Is that
it.
acceptable?
Yes.
That
Okay.
sounds reasonable.
That's what we'll do. Very good. All right, so I think that was, what else we had here?
Homeowners
Okay,
Quorum.
so we had go-kart track. So
Ah.
a homeowner sent us a email. This is for informational purposes for the board and for any homeowners on our call. Apparently, the town of Gilbert is entertaining a proposal to put a go-kart track on the west side of Greenfield Lakes Road down where it turns near the park. So that's all I know. So if the HOA, you know, if they start having public hearings about it, or we hear anything about it, you know, maybe a good thing, a bad thing, maybe individual opinions. You know, it's the board decision whether the HOA should or should not get involved on eventuality if there leans one way or another.
Well,
I think it was also,
may I?
excuse me, Kevin? Yeah,
Uh,
please.
As the newly elected president, haha, no, I think that it's our responsibility to share the information that we know, but it's up to the individual homeowners how they feel about it and how involved they want to get. And it's up to them if they want to go support it or fight it or just stand back and watch. But the board is not going to assume any responsibility to get involved or to represent anybody.
Okay, very good.
I do have another comment, and that is on the chat. Somebody is mentioning that there's another mailbox that needs to be painted. Can you make sure that that gets included in the bid?
I sure will. I had not been paying attention to the chat, but Naomi is also. So let me review the chat. You can't weld aluminum. Well, okay, you can, you can't. Not thin, you can TIG weld it. They have to be, well, yeah, somebody else said you can TIG, and they could do that. They're a specialty. Let's see, walls separating throughout the community, yes. Being proactive, fixing walls, I'm shocked. Thank you very much for the appreciation. I hope that's a positive comment. Walls are separating Cardinal Appaloosa. Mailbox need to be painted. Yeah, we're gonna look at all the mailboxes throughout the community, and from what I've seen, some are okay, but if we're gonna paint the mailboxes, I'm gonna get a bid to paint all the mailboxes so they all look equally good. So that's the approach we're gonna take for the bid when we present it back to the board.
Okay,
You know, once the painter's doing 1 or 2 or 5, a second or third is not going to make a big difference, and it makes it community look consistent. Thank you for pointing that out. I also put on here meeting dates. So we did set a meeting date on the 4th Thursday for the rest of the year in November and December, especially November. So that's on Thanksgiving. So if you want to move that date a little bit, we might want to think about that. And then in December, it's 2 days from Christmas. It's semi-okay. It depends on if you guys want to make it earlier than that time on that one also. Any ideas?
what is
It
the
may
count?
be, but
Go ahead, Art.
it may be by 11 months from now that we will not be meeting every single month. So somewhere in there, we're going to have to adopt a budget, but we could choose either to do it in November, some other date, or in December.
Yeah, I would recommend the budget probably be in October to go through the whole motions of the budget meeting.
Okay.
But we can leave it till then. There's no problem to make you aware of it, and you can decide on meetings in the future.
Are you available a week before on both those dates?
Let me look at the calendar. Naomi, can you look? I don't have that calendar refreshed on my home office computer, sorry. You have to unmute yourself, Naomi. While she's looking.
I'd like to make a comment about something I'm reading in the chat
Sure.
about the board not taking a position. In order for the board to take a position, we would have to take a vote to find out how many homeowners were for this go-kart and how many were against. And then we would have to take that position because we can't represent ourselves. We have to represent the whole community. I'm not so sure that we should be doing that. I think it would probably be better if every homeowner were to speak up rather than have a small board speak up. I have my own personal opinions about what I'm gonna do as a homeowner. And I would encourage everybody else who has a strong opinion to do something about it.
I do have those dates whenever you're ready, Harmon.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
It does look like we are available the Thursday of the week before both of those dates, if you wanted to shift them up.
Can we make them like tentative? And hopefully we'll have our act together by then and we won't need those dates. And we can just jump from October all the way to January. But by October, we'll know whether or not we need them.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'd rather you have a place on the calendar if we need it.
Yes, so. Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
please. We'll change those. Very good. Kevin, do you want to comment anything else on the chat? Okay,
I'm done.
all right. So the next is homeowners forum. So homeowners, this is your opportunity for comments and for future agenda items you would like to see considered. If you want to unmute yourself and speak, we'll see if we can do it one at a time.
Hello?
If you want to raise your hand. Tess has her hand up. So Tess, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I'm going to get back to this go-kart thing. As a matter of fact, I wanted to bring this up. First of all, when this first came up, it was going to be a splash pad and a putt-putt golf course, which was really cute. Now we have a go-kart. We have a big volcano that's going to be going out. The joke is, well, you know, this area already has the helicopters going over. We have the railroad track. So what's the difference? There's a huge difference here. First of all, the noise. Number two, the traffic, which we still haven't had that median cut back. Number three is it's going to devaluate our homes. And so I know that maybe the board can't really take a stand, but when you put out the information on April 1st, perhaps put this information in the newsletter, make people aware so that we can all get together and stand up to Gilbert and say, you know what? You know, putt-putt is fine, splash park is fine, go-kart, excuse me, with a noise and everything else, that's not really acceptable.
That's in my experience, being here since '88, there was a place called Malibu Grand Prix. That was on Hayden Road. And it was an outdoor go-kart. And during summertime, eventually they ended up shutting it down because so many tires were actually getting ripped up from the heat. So ever since then, everything that they have built in Arizona been an indoor building. Let's see what they're gonna do first. Then as a homeowners, we can possibly get involved. But as a board, we're only one vote. We're not gonna make a difference. As a homeowners, you need to get as many people as possible and take it to the town of Gilbert. But more likely, they're trying to change the zoning due to the noise to make it an indoor go-kart. Or they have to put in a wall, a soundproof wall, like they do on the freeways. They're not gonna leave it like that. That's not what Gilbert does.
Right. But my question is if our board gets involved in it, maybe the HOA of the northwest corner of Knox, maybe they may be interested in joining us. But this is going to be ridiculous. I don't know the hours of it, but the noise is going to be, unless they're going to build a buffer wall to reduce the noise, this is not acceptable. I know my neighbor has done some studies, and out of 120 go-kart areas in the Southwest, none of them are next to a residential area.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know how, if the board wants to get involved in this or not. If you do not, all I ask is when you put out the information in April, perhaps let the homeowners know that this is what is coming up, and perhaps we can band together and tell Gilbert this is not acceptable.
As an individual, I 100% agree with you.
Right. But
I don't think we have all the information either.
Yeah.
Right, but how willing is the board to get involved in this, I guess is my question.
Well, it
as
depends, because
individuals, as individual homeowners.
Right,
We are willing to represent our own self and our own homes.
right. This is why I'm asking, is the board willing to put that information out in their next, like when our HOA dues are due, are you willing to put that information out to the homeowners and say, look, this is what's going on?
Harmon, you have any comments?
If the board would like us to do that, we can certainly put that in a informational newsletter format. And as we said, we can include items in the statement letters that go out to everybody anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
That's a good idea, or even the minutes of this meeting, what was discussed, possibly can go to the homeowners as well, about the go-kart, that they are building a go-kart.
And that would, even if we can let them know when the next Gilbert Town meeting is coming up, that we can all say, that we can all at least join in and say, this is it, because I'm sure a lot of homeowners are not aware of this.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
I don't
can
want to
include
put
that.
anybody on the spot, but this is huge. If our values are going to go down and the noise level is going to go up, I mean, this is huge for our community, I think anyways.
Okay.
I agree.
Harmon, please put a note in the next mailer.
Yes, we just took that down. So we'll include information. And it's a good point about the Gilbert Town Hall or the Gilbert meeting. That usually gets the attention of the town when homeowners show up for a cause that they're involved in.
Thank
So,
you.
Good point.
That's
Thank you.
huge. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other homeowner discussion? Let's see, we got one in chat. We want to make sure homeowners need the planning commission town hall meetings. Yeah, we'll put the, I'm not sure it's planning commission, but the town hall meeting, we can put that link and URL link in the newsletter, and when we mail it out, so people can actually look it up and see what's going on themselves.
Okay,
It is
that's a
short
start.
name. Thank you, Brandon. Any other, anything else you'd like to bring up, homeowners?
Hey, Harmon, just on the collection policy, you just
Yeah.
need to go back and clean it up. There's a few areas where there's capitalized words which are defined terms and where they're not in the same sentence. So all the language looks good, just punctuation
Okay.
and all that fun stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We will polish it up before we put out.
Hello, I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead, please.
James Taylor, we live on Roanoke. We've only been here about a year, so we don't have a long history of information to rely on. We've noticed recently on an intermittent basis that there seems to be a lack of pickup going on along the common areas of the streets. When trash is along the sidewalks or in the common areas, it sometimes seems to be remaining there for a week or two at a time. I've actually stopped and picked up some trash and brought it home and put it in the garbage. I didn't know if we have a scheduled process that helps us keep tidied up.
I can make a comment on that. The landscaper is on site 3 days a week, and it is a new landscaper. He's been with us 3 or 4 weeks now, and they're supposed to police the common areas, every week, because they're touching everywhere. And certainly the entrances along the roads, if there's trash, they're supposed to pick that up. So that's really the plan. There's no separate responsible party or a janitorial service that does that. So a little bit of the neighbors and neighborhood, and thank you for doing that. But the trash scene in the common areas should be taken care of by the landscape company.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And I'm through the community at least once a week myself and see things. If I see something bigger, you know, I point it out to the landscaping companies or we get it taken care of.
Again, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, board, you can entertain a motion to adjourn and go to executive session if you like.
I make that motion.
I second.
Second it.
Any further discussion on that motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, homeowners, for joining the meeting. We appreciate the comments and the input and the participation, speaking for, the board can speak for themselves too, but I appreciate it as your manager also. And feel free to give us a call and email anytime if you need any help or something that needs attention. I'm going to ask everybody to, homeowners only, to leave now. We're going to go to executive session per our agenda. As you see, it's ARS 33-1804, 1, 2, and 3. If you want to know what those are, you can look them up, or executive session is for discussing personal information, mostly who owes money. So that's why we have executive sessions. Thank you very much again.